course being the foundation.
We are discussing about the relevance, implication, importance of research methods in psychology. Psychology also withholds a very significant impact of research, which basically deals with the natural phenomena of human beings. See, wherever we go in any context, no human can remain in isolation. So it is but natural fact that the researchers have a very vast scope of research or doing some study survey in the field of human behavior. No two individuals are same. No two individuals have similar trends or attitudes. They may be similar in certain aspect, but there are at situations same individual as well may behave in a very different manner. So there are so many good impacts, so many scope of the researchers to study upon in the field of psychology. Now, we before dealing with the case study, as we can recollect, we have dealt with the relevance or the introduction of research. What is research in psychology? Explaining, just going about, if we want to explain it in a layman's language, psychology research refers to exploration of the phenomena which has already been explained, but exploring it with those in order to find out those facts and findings which were not seen earlier, or the gaps in the informations that are already available in the societal context. They may deal with the human behavior, attitude, and several other aspects of human beings. So the research is basically of four types. We dealt with each type of research. In the beginning, we dealt with types of survey research. Survey research, again, as I had explained earlier, it refers to a kind of survey which is being done in societal context in order to see the effect of some kind of trend or fashion existing in the society. Okay, and this survey research is again of two major types. They are longitudinal study and cohort study. Longitudinal research study refers to those studies in which the researcher takes or tries to study the trend, fashion, phenomena, culture, norms, policies of particular tribe, culture, organization, anywhere for a longer period of time. Cohort studies are those studies which deal with studying of different sample at a single time period. Then apart from survey research, we dealt with ex post facto research, which is a kind of retrospective research design. That is, it is a research in which we try to analyze the causes behind the ultimate effect that has already occurred. Then the third type of research method was this field experiment. Field experiment refers to those research which are being done in the field, and the only good as well as demerit is there is no control of the extraneous variables, but vis-a-vis it provides new fields or new platform for the research scholars to find about or deal with. Then the last type of research the last type of research methodology in psychology is case study. So we have been dealing with types of case studies. These case studies can be of four major types. Illustrative case studies refers to those types of studying of case in which instances are being used to find out or to lead to a particular conclusion. Exploratory case studies are those kind of case studies in which the researcher explores the intensity of the tools or data that the tools or measurement method which they are going to imply upon the actual sample. Then the third type of the third type of case study is cumulative case study. Cumulative case study refers to those kind of studies or of cases in which the researcher aggregates or collects information from several areas. Now, say if the researcher is trying to study the downfall or pitfall of Satyam industry, it may try to collect information which is related to the history, beginning, or the current trend or the current position of Satyam industry from different sites. The researcher may go through different sites. It may search upon magazine articles, newspaper articles, then television, seminar programs. So informations are collected from several places, and on basis of this cumulated or aggregated information, the researcher comes to a basic conclusion. That's a finding of the ultimate cumulative case study done. Then the fourth type of case study is critical instance case study. Critical instance case study refers to those kind of studying of cases in which the individual or the researcher tries to study the cases with a mood to examine, or with an aspect of examining the cases from different prospects. That is, the researcher tries to see or look on the pros and the cons, the advantages, disadvantages, merits, demerits. That is, critically, the researcher tries to critically examine a particular case or an example which may be the target of the researcher to study. So these are the basic types of case studies, 4 basic types of case studies which are dealt with in case study. Okay, now the results, the reports of case studies are presented in several forms. There are several ways in which you can lead to cases. Now the cases in itself are open-ended ones and close-ended ones. Open-ended, which don't have a particular question, that is, you don't deal with specific ends. Actually, you try to see the basic strengths, weakness, opportunities and threats of those cases. So that comes under SWOT analysis. That is, there are different ways of analyzing cases. It may be through SWOT analysis, it may be through PEST analysis, and recently there are so many ways with the help of which you can analyze a particular case. That is, the researcher can analyze a particular case. Okay, so the next agenda that we are dealing with within the research methodology is qualitative research. Now, qualitative research in psychology in itself is a very huge field. Now, there basically, if we talk about, there are 2 different types of research. The research methodology can be majorly divided into 2 different types. They are qualitative research method and quantitative research method. Okay, now qualitative research methods are those methods in which you try to explore the phenomena. That is, you try to see what is the effect or how is the thing going on. But in quantitative research method, you try to confirm hypothesis. That is, you statistically try to explore a relationship and see whether your hypothesis is confirmed or not. So quantitative research methodology actually limits your research in only those fields where you try to explore, or where you can actually confirm some hypothesis or propose solution. But qualitative research is a huge field which provides a very big scope to the research scholars to go through, to look about and to come to conclusions. That is, it has some quality and significance as well. There are certain researchers which use both the methods. That is, the research scholars are equally free to go about only with qualitative, only with quantitative, or both the methods. So qualitative research basically deals with coming to a conclusion with the help of some quality research that is being done by the research scholar. Basically, the research can be qualitative with the help of exploring the phenomena. That is, the research scholar can do a qualitative research only when the research scholar is in the touch of the sample. Say for example, if a research scholar wants to study the level of motivation within a particular cultured people. Say if the research scholar wants to study the level of motivation amongst the people residing in North India. In that case, the research scholar can understand the level of motivation only when the research scholar tries to remain or observes the sample that is of the large population. Only when it stays or the researcher stays with them, then only they can come in touch with them and they can understand, observe and see what are the level of motivation, under what circumstances the level of motivation rises or it lowers down within the people residing in northern part of India. So the qualitative research requires close observation of the participants or the sample. Now this qualitative research can be done with the help of several ways. One of the most important way is ethnography, which comes into the picture. Ethnography is again a close participative observation. Now observations are basically of two different kinds. The researchers use the method of observation in order to draw some conclusions or findings. Okay, they try to observe the sample, the behavior, the attitude which they are trying to study. So these observations can be done in two different ways. They are participative and non-participative observation. Participative observation refers to the kind of observation in which the research scholar stays within the particular community or societal context in which he or she is conducting the study, and they participants equally know that this person is the researcher and this person is trying to study this kind of behavior or nature on us. Okay, this is participative observation. Then the other kind of observation method is non-participative observation. Now non-participative observation method refers to that kind of observation in which the sample never know that there is a person who is equally watching our activities. That is, the researcher will never disclose his or her identity, and he or she will observe the nature, behavior or phenomena of human beings or living organisms from a different side. Usually if you go through the animatory documentaries which are being telecasted in Discovery Channel, there the researcher is trying to study the animal behavior or human behavior as well. They remain aloof from those animals or human beings as well, just in order to see that the behavior is not being hindered. That is, they don't want to hinder or create an obstacle to the activities that is going on within the community, and as an isolated part they record, they observe and they try to note down the findings that are being done. Now observation methodology are noted in various ways. Okay, that is, once the researcher is observing, be it in a participative way or a non-participative way, the research scholar notes down the observation, and these noting downs can be done with the help of records. That is, that they may create audio record, video recording, they may do recordings, they may use noting downs, that is, they may memo down or they may prepare notes at the instant, or they may just think about and later on they may note the findings or create an interlink in between the activities that are taking place. So ethnography is a very important aspect or very important research type of qualitative research, and this ethnography is a close participative observation kind of research in which the research scholar participates within the activities of the community, but it does not tries to hinder or create an obstacle to the activities that is going on. The researcher only notes down or records the activities that are taking place within the context that it is trying to study. So there are different ways in with the help of which this research methodology can be qualitative. Ethnography is a kind of research methodology, is a kind of research which takes full use of this qualitative research. Now There are several implications of qualitative research, but before going to the implications, uses and relevances, we need to discuss what are the ultimate results of these qualitative research. See, the qualitative research helps out in coming or formulating theories. Once the researcher is trying to observe so many phenomena, or once the researcher is trying to observe the activities of the community that is taking place, it may come to a theory. It may propose certain hypotheses and formulate theories with the help of the things that are taking place. That is, for example, if the researcher is trying to study the level of motivation within the members, within the people staying in northern India, it may try to visit certain places, specific places where extremities of motivation level can be found out. That is, usually if it is an organizational based study, then the researcher may move to different organizations. It may join the organizations as well. It may remain as a member, because these researchers, if they work in that way, they are also paid, so they may also become a part of the organization. They may very well remain over there, and they may study the human behavior or the level of motivation within a particular segment. That may be the level of that may be amongst first line staff managers, workers, supervisors, any level. So these research scholars remain over there, participate over there, and they note down the different aspects of the study that they are actually doing, and with the help of these aspects they can come out with good theories. So grounded theory is a kind of theory which is result of this qualitative research in itself. Now, within qualitative research, we deal with grounded theory as well, because this theory that comes out from with the help of qualitative research belongs to the phenomena, the study which has been done through multiple sources. Okay, this theory is also known as grounded theory because it has certain relevant grounds on basis of which this theory has been formulated. So these theories are a result of recordings, versions, or reports of several multiple resources, and these theories are equally relevant because the researcher pays good emphasis on each and every aspect of the theory. Now, grounded theory are those theories for which the research scholars have to follow steps. There are certain specific steps with the help of which the researcher can come to a good theory. Okay, now this grounded theory can be done with the help of three basic steps. They are memoing, sorting, and writing. Memoing, what is this? Memo refers to short notes that are prepared at instant. Now, see if the researcher could study a new behavior which occurred at that particular instant, they may note them down. Now, these short notes can be made in several ways. They may create some codes. Okay, that is, there are certain code words which the researcher actually prepares, and these codes can also be of different types. They are open coding, field coding, axial coding. Now, what are these codes? These codes are nothing but the short forms of the information that the researcher has received at that instant, and these informations are later on elaborated by the researcher. So the codes are very well known by the researcher, that this particular code, say if the study was done that motivation lowers down within an organization once the boss scolds an employee. So this scolding can become a code, and what kind of scolding was done can be elaborated later on. So these codes are prepared, and these may be of different types. These may be open coding, that is, everything will be represented within the memo, or it may be axial coding, that is, the researcher creates links. It formulates a chart, and within the notebook it prepares a chart, and with the help of chart it tries to elaborate later on, that is what led to the other sequence to happen. Okay, so these sequential charts can be prepared. So in a way, the short notes can be prepared with the help of memoing. Once the memos are prepared, the researcher gets back and it then sorts out. Sorting is the next step. Sorting refers to organizing of information in such a way that results can be understood. That is, the outcome of the study can be done. It is not a day, not a single day's job. This sorting is done only with the help of in-depth study of the memos that have been prepared. Now, these studies, these theories are a result of a study of several months, several days, or several years. That is why the sorting is led only with help of good memo. Now, once this sorting is done, that is organization of the information, creating links in between the information. Once this sorting is done, ultimate process or step of creation of grounded theory is writing. That is, the research scholar writes these information down, it pens down the information in such a way that the information leads to a particular result. That is, with the help of the writing of the research scholars, the individual, a layman, can also get an information of the study that the research scholar has tried to do. So, this qualitative research is a platform for good theories, basically grounded theory. Grounded theories are those theories which help the individual to study the minute details of a particular tribe or a behavior phenomena. Then, with the help of qualitative research, are only the contents or discourse can also be analyzed. That is, the qualitative research equally helps in analyzing the content. See, while we are talking about content, there are informations which are given with help of language. Over here I am speaking to you, that means my language I am speaking to you in English, say, then the medium is English, the language with which I am speaking to you is equally giving an information to you. The information may be related to qualitative research. Now, this information can be different given to you in different languages, in different forms, and these languages forms can also have different connotations. That is, a same line can have different meanings. So, each meaning is tried to be analyzed with the help of content analysis. That is, content analysis is one of the ways with the help of which the phrase, the text, the language, or the information of the details can be sorted down. Basically, usually the discourse or content analysis is done with in those places where we try to study some historical events or social practices. Okay, that is, there are policies, there are politics which are politicians which hold a very important aspect. So the say for example, there are at times the politicians give speeches. So these speeches, if they are tried to be analyzed by other parties, other people, they try to understand what is the meaning behind each and every sentence that was being said by the politician. In that case, the analysis that is being trying to be done is discourse or content analysis. That is, the researcher is trying to analyze the content or connotation behind the speech that was already being given. So, usually with the help of content analysis or discourse analysis, we try to see the connotation or the meaning behind the information that has already been given. So, usually this discourse or content analysis is used in critical instances. That is, these the content analysis, that is, in latest scenario, content analysis is tried to be done critically. That is, the analysis withholds critical discourse analysis, in which the researcher tries to see the pros and the cons of the information that has already been laid upon. That the information which is being given, what are the good points of the information, what are the bad points, what are the critical points, what are the sensitive issues. All these things are tried to be analyzed with help of critical discourse analysis, and the qualitative research provides a good platform for this critical discourse analysis, because usually the journalists, the researchers, they may go through several magazine articles. Now, at today's scenario, there are so many television channels, there are so many television programs which equally impart programs or seminars, conferences, whatever, which usually deal with sensitive issues. Now, once these sensitive issues are on air or are reaching to the customers, to the people, these issues are needed to be analyzed, because there are several aspects which are too sensitive and which may lead to aggression, or it may bring some kind of revolution. In that case, the content is required to be analyzed by the research scholar, so that the information that is tried to be given with the help of communication is an ideal one. That is, people receive the actual information which is required for them to be received, apart from the sensitive issues that are required to be hidden upon. So qualitative research provides a good platform for such kind of discourse or content analysis. Usually research scholars try to study the kind of social injustice or social practices which is taking place. Now, of course, the racism and casteism is no more apart, but still there are places where these things are still very sensitive. So in those places, discourse or critical discourse analysis or critical content analysis withholds a very good impact. So there is a good scope for the research scholars in this field also. That is, the research scholars once opt for qualitative research, they can always become a very good critical discourse analyst. So these are the two basic things which are ultimate results of qualitative research. And apart from that, the qualitative research has a very good implication in the field of research methodology in psychology. As psychology tries to study the effect, the behavior, the attitude of human beings or living beings, in that case psychology uses this qualitative research which delimits the limit of quantification. That is, quantification is not a necessary impact over here, not necessary point over here. Manipulation of independent variables is again not necessary, because we try to explore a phenomena with help of the variables which are already present. So everything is too open and the activities are looked upon, they are observed, nothing is being experimented over here, nothing is being intensified, or there are no manipulations of any variables. So this helps out in doing a research where quantification is not required, where quantification is not the ultimate aspect. Then it also leads to study of several phenomena which require a quick attention of the nation, or which equally requires attention of everyone. Say if the child behavior is being studied, in that case parenting can be the good effect, or the tips of that study can lead to a good parenting only once this childhood behavior is being studied. So quantification is not an aspect. Human behavior can be studied in a very good aspect, sensitive issues can be studied, theories can be manipulated, theories can be formulated, and these theories are on basis of relevant findings. So these the qualitative research provides a very good platform for good theories, and it also equally provides a platform for analyzing the content, the discourse, the matter, or as well as closely observing the phenomena which we are actually trying to study, which we are actually trying to deal with. So the research scholars have a very good field or open field for having those studies. Now, qualitative research again is very important in psychology, because psychology and the deals with research method, and once you are through with the course, once you will be dealing with each and every aspect, you come to understand the concept of reliability, validity, and levels of significance in qualitative research. So as discussed earlier, reliability refers to validity refers to the level of significance, that is the degree to which the result which is being which is an outcome right now will also be same, even if that experiment or even if the effect is observed after a particular time period. That is the degree to which the results, the findings are valid. In that case, validity is an important aspect. Reliability refers to the degree to which you are reliable, that is the degree to which one can rely on the source, or on the test, on the effects, on the studies, on the findings which have come out. So it refers to the degree to which the tests can be reused, or degree to which the phenomena can be reused, or can equally yield similar results in the for the time being. So reliability and validity equally withholds a very important position in research. Level of significance, while you will be statistically analyzing the data, the information, you will also come to know about the levels of significance. What is the basic level of significance, that is what is the degree of or what is the chance of your result to be significant. There are two basic scales for that. The level of significance is tried to be administered on a scale which yields 95% of chance for your result to be true, or 5% of your chance to be true. That is, you can examine your results at point 001 level as well as at point 005 level. These are levels of significance which you can come to know only once you go through the statistical analysis and only once you study the matters that are given in the statistical analysis part of your study. So this is very important in qualitative research. This survey research is equally important in qualitative research because with the help of survey you can come to some qualitative findings and outcomes. So this qualitative findings and outcomes can be dealt only with help of survey research. There are different ways, different forms with the help of which data can be collected, the tools, the information can be collected. This helps the researcher in coming out with a good survey, and the findings are equally qualitative in the sense it provides scope for further research also. So this qualitative research in psychology withholds a good impact because the findings of the research provide a further scope for the research that can be conducted by future research scholars. And the instruments which are being used, as discussed, they are too important. The questions of the questionnaire can be formulated in different ways. The questions can be an open-ended ones. Once you are doing the survey research, you can just give blanks behind the questions that you are asking. They may be closed-ended ones, that is, they can be of different ways, that is, closed-ended questions actually ask responses in specific ways. There are different ways. Say there are dichotomous way of questionnaire. Dichotomous ways of questionnaire are those questionnaires which in which the responses are asked within two categories, say yes or no. So these two categories, the responses, the sample is required to respond only to select a response which is out of these two responses only. Then apart from dichotomous response, you also have the filtering type of questions. What are these? Filtering type of questions are those questions which may be dichotomous in nature, that is, there may be two options which are given after a question that has been asked, and after these two options there can be some filtered questions. Say if the question is do you like to attend the office every day, yes or no. If yes, then what are the times do you like to, and how would you like to attend. So these questions are filtered on, that is, once the dichotomous has already been mentioned, you are asked regarding what are the different specific questions once this is through. So the questionnaires can be of different types, the questions of the questionnaires can be of different ways, and these questions are equally important. Interviews can be equally in different ways. Interviews are again very important because research scholars get maximum of information with the help of interviews, which they could not get with the help of questionnaires, because in questionnaire there are statements and the sample is forced to respond against those questions. But in interviews, they equally give the chance to the sample to answer to those questions which might not have been asked in the questionnaire, and which may be totally different from the questions that has already been asked. So interviews are equally important, and there are different ways with the help of which interviews can be done, and the survey can be administered equally on a single base administration or on a group based administration. That is, The group administrative test can be given to a particular group at a single instant. That is, the group can be called upon and they may be said to sit down and the questions may be administered to them. And such group administered tests can also help the research scholars to see the capacity of peer formation, the capacity of the tendency of affiliation, the tendency of motivation. Several things can be studied with help of this group administered test, in which apart from questionnaires, observation also withholds a very good impact. So there are several ways with the help of research which research can be done, and qualitative research can be done with only usage of the good research methodology, and the research scholar of course needs to have a good in-depth knowledge of the research methodology, the ways in which research can be done, and how the data can be collected, and what are the ways with the help of which the research scholar can look at the loopholes, the findings, and what are the ways in which the research scholar can see the further scope of the research. So this is how the research scholar can try to come out with good findings of qualitative research. Any question? If any doubt exists, then it can be very well asked. So this is something that is related to research methodology. Yes, again, then a very good question that can be asked to you is, how will you try to understand that which type of survey research can suit your research? There are different ways, that is, the research methodology has given different types of research methods in psychology, but the researcher has to analyze what kind of research will yield particular good findings to the research scholar. So there are different research. Now if if a researcher is trying to see the strategy or attitude or behavior of a particular societal context, then in that case survey research can be done. It can withhold a very good way, it can be a very good source to come out with good findings, to come out with good yieldings. And if the research scholar wants to study some historical events, some practices that has already taken place, or if the research scholar wants to come out with the findings using secondary data as well, in that case study can be done. It is a very good source for that. Now secondary data, as I discussed, the data can be collected in two different ways. It can be primary data and it can be secondary data as well. Primary data refers to collection of data or raw data with the help of test administration, that is, in which the research scholar administers test and collects data from the sample. And the secondary data refers to those kind of data which are taken from the records that already exist. That is, there are certain graphs, there are certain findings which already exist. Now if you are using this secondary data, that is usually done in case study, using of secondary data and dealing in order to come to a new finding, then that kind of survey research can very well use case study, because case study will yield some good information with the help of secondary data as well. Then if you want to study some causes, some effects that have already occurred, that is, the events which has already yielded to some results, in that case ex post facto type of research will have a very good impact. That is, the researchers can opt for ex post facto because they are trying to study a phenomena which has already yielded to results. Now this phenomena can be studied and it can be tried to sort out what are the ways that might have led to particular cause to that might have led for the particular cause to occur. Apart from that, if the researcher wants to study or explore the behavior or wants to study modification in behavior or trend pattern of behaviors within a societal context, then of course field experiment is the best one, because at that time the researcher can very well remain in the field, it can participate, it can observe, and come to good findings or conclusions. But yes, I should also specify that no one research is good in itself. Each research method has its own significance, provided the kind of research or the study that the research scholar wants to do. So the level of significance, the kind of research that needs to be selected by the research scholar withholds a very good, very significant impact, because it is the research scholar which will try which who will try to come to a particular type of research while trying to lead to some kind of hypothesis solutions, or when the research scholar wants to prepare a pre-post questions to pre-post answers to certain questions that have been done. So qualitative research methodology withholds a good point, and psychology has a very good impact on qualitative research methodology. It is very relevant. For further, you can go through the material, and the materials in itself has each and every details of the qualitative research methodology, that is, what are the impacts or significance of this qualitative research methodology in psychology. And the points that are given, I find if there is any doubt, anyone can please call and please ask regarding the slides or regarding the information that is being given. So in that way, this lecture in all dealt with research methodology in psychology and qualitative research in psychology. Apart from that, reliability, validity, levels of significance are equally important to be known just before going to the statistical analysis part, because just before going to statistics you need to know these. Once you go through these, then only you'll understand how can a research scholar come to good findings, or what are the best ways, best methods of research which can come to a good statistical analysis, and the interpretations can equally be very relevant and important to them. So this is how a research methodology in psychology can withhold a very good impact on psychology, of course. And as known, psychology is always an interrelated discipline, because once you are going through psychology, social psychology or sociology is very much interrelated. Once the aspects of psychology is being studied, sociology, anthropology, and there are history, there are so many fields, political science, there are so many fields which can be interrelated and which can be studied out with the help of research methods, with the help of studying of behavior pattern in human phenomena. As discussed earlier, critical discourse analysis is one of the very good part in which the stream of political science and stream of psychology can be interrelated. So this is all about qualitative research and methodology, and research method and qualitative research method in psychology withholds a very good impact in psychology. And so with this I take I depart, and we hope to meet with a new topic on a new day. Thank you.